In this video, we're going to be breaking down the email marketing campaign strategy for a brand that is doing over $10 million every single year. You feel like you're spamming your list every time you send an email campaign. You don't know how many to send per week. Well, this video is for you. We're going to be breaking down a very, very good email marketing campaign strategy and how you should actually think about this from a strategic standpoint. And also going to be showing you the specific emails that this brand is sending out that are very, very good at making sure you keep your audience engaged. And when you do ask your list to buy from within your emails, you get a lot of revenue. So let's get straight into the video. Just some proof before we dive in to show that I'm qualified to speak on the topic of growing e-commerce brands. Last 30 days, one of our clients does over 800K in revenue. And what we do is we help these e-commerce brands scale. We do that through customer acquisition and customer retention. And our job is to come in and scale them to the 8-figure range and beyond. And the way that we do that is we handle the media buying across Meta, Google, and other platforms. We handle the ad creative production end to end, from onboarding content creators, scripting, briefing, coming up with the creative ideas, editing, data analysis, iterations, everything end to end. And then we also do the email and SMS marketing. So everything I'm going to be showing you today is actually things that we do for our clients in terms of email marketing strategy, but also the execution as well, with copywriting, design, implementation, and also thinking about LTV and how do we hit higher LTV targets, okay? So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. So the brand we're going to be talking about today is MindLab Pro. MindLab Pro is a nootropic which helps enhance brain power, improve focus, memory, clarity, and more. And what I've done is I've taken their email campaigns, been on the email list for a while, and I've put them into this figure, just some examples just to show you the strategy behind this and give you guys some ways to think about how you can approach email campaigns. Most people talk about email flows and how those are important, and they are important. There's other videos on my channel that go through specific email marketing flows, and actually I have a whole mega document that goes through like all the flows that you should be running for your e-commerce brand, plus how many emails you should be sending, the context of those emails, etc., etc. If you want this mega document, by the way, just comment down below this video. I'll send you this completely for free. Happy to do that and just, share some value on that side to help you guys out with the email marketing strategy. But in this video, let's dive into the email campaigns themselves. As I mentioned, we do email marketing for a handful of brands and we help them scale. Email marketing is a great way to add additional revenue, increase lifetime value, introduce new products, run sales, etc., etc. And here you can see last 30 days, 267K in revenue just from email marketing alone for one of our clients. So yeah, the first thing I want to talk about is the campaign strategy. But before you actually have a campaign strategy in place, it's important to have a monthly campaign calendar. So what we do for all of our clients is we have a campaign calendar on Notion, and we plan out all the emails that we'll be sending ahead of the month so that we know exactly what's needed and when. But also we can follow this structure that I'm going to talk to you about now, which is an 80-20 structure, which means 80% of our emails are value and engagement driven, and 20% of emails are about sales, promotions, new product launches, etc. Okay. By the way, if you're a new viewer here, my name is Jordan Hayes. I actually run a marketing agency where we help e-commerce brands scale their revenue profitably. Now, if you're running an e-commerce brand, you're doing over 100K per month in revenue, and you're facing challenges with scale, maybe your ads or your funnel is not working as well as it used to or should be, or even if it's just a lack of time and resource to put into scaling this part of the business, then that's exactly what we help with. So down below this video, there'll be a link to book a call with me. We'll have a conversation about your business, learn more about the challenges, your objectives, and see if there's a fit for us to work together. Worst case scenario, I can provide some insights as we're seeing with our other clients to help you at your current stage of your business. And as I mentioned, this is for brands who are doing at least 100K per month in revenue and they need help with scaling and obviously want to scale profitably. And in the way in which we help brands scale is we provide services across both customer acquisition and customer retention, done for you services which are completely hands off. We take care of everything for you. And that includes media buying, CRO, landing pages, ad creative, email marketing, SMS marketing, overall growth strategy, lifetime value optimization, all that stuff, okay? So with that said, let's get back to the video. So with that in mind, we use that to build out the monthly campaign calendar here, right? So I'd always recommend having that planned out, because the worst position you want to be in is like, you're sending emails yourself, or even your agency is sending emails and it's like, okay, it's the start of the week. What emails are we going to send this week, right? That's not the position you want to be in. You want to be planning ahead. You want to be, thinking about what holidays are coming up, what world events are coming up that, time with your brand and could be good marketing moments. So all this stuff is important, and you can only achieve that once you plan that out in advance, okay? And, planning out in advance leads to better execution because you have more time to think about the ideas, design, all that stuff, okay? When most brand owners think about campaigns, they think, okay, we're just going to send out an email blast to all of our list. We're going to say, here's the product, here's a coupon code for 10% off, go and buy. But the thing is, what we want to achieve as brand owners is how do we send emails that are worth opening, right? How do we get our list excited about opening our emails because of the content that we have inside those emails, right? The education, the engagement, the value. And this brand right here is a perfect example of value and engagement driven emails. So let's have a look at some of them. This one is about stress. So the subject line is "Don't be a slave to stress." Pretty good subject line. Stress is perfectly natural. It's our body's physical response. And notice how this email is, quite long form compared to most emails. But what it does is that it introduces stress as like, look, it's a normal thing. It has this like cool phone graphic, which makes it a little bit interactive. And it says good stress. So it introduces this fact that there is a level of good stress, right? There's bad stress and good stress. And then they have this stress performance curve where you want to be optimal, you don't want to be high or too low. And then there's bad stress as well and long-term impact. And what this brand does really well is that they take the topic of value, the education at the beginning across, and then they tie in their product at the end, right? So here's a perfect way they're doing that. It says, don't worry, we're here to help. Here are 5 simple anti-stress hacks to lighten your load. And then just say new, right? There are a number of new topics shown to ease various forms of stress, such as these ones, which, by the way, all these are ingredients are in the product. And MLP stacks all 5, plus a B vitamin complex for additional mental energy, mood balance, etc., right? So it's a very good way to tie in the product to an educational topic that is interesting for the consumer to learn about, okay? Another example is the true cost of bad brain health habits. Again, another very good subject line, very curiosity driven, and that's what's really going to get the open rate up. Now, this one is, what is brain health worth? We live in a world that values body shape over brain power. According to the latest statistics, we spend an average of $5.50 per day trying to reduce our waistline. So we're getting new information here. It's education, it's interesting facts, it's things that the consumer likely doesn't already know. And it's been delivered in a very easy to consume way, okay? So we invest next to nothing on boosting your mental performance. The true cost of caffeine, right? We're introducing kind of like a failed solution and something that, is a kind of a nemesis to this brand and this product. But, the spend on caffeine and the problems with that. And as a high performers think differently. So what this brand does really well also is that in terms of their branding, they draw their line in the sand between what they believe and what they believe in and what they dislike and like. And then they say, if you're a high performer, if you're smart, if you're intelligent, then you come to us, right? It's a very, very good brand positioning. And it just makes the introduction of the product here with these topics very natural and seamless, okay? So hopefully you start to think about how you can implement these for your own brand. Now, you might not be selling a product that is, is life-changing and, problem and solution driven. That's okay, because you can still get creative and introduce other types of campaigns. Think about the amount of social proof and customer reviews you can get across. Think about how you can talk about where your products are made, how you have these, high standards of manufacturing practices, the backstory to the brand, how the brand has grown over the years, how you're thankful for the, customer support. If you're selling apparel, these are all great ideas that you could apply to your apparel. Same with furniture. And then you could also have these engagement driver campaigns that we like to do. If you have a high performing Instagram video, like from a UGC video from a customer or whatever, reviewing the product, using the product, link your email to that Instagram post, right? It could also be something on YouTube, whatever it is. But what that's doing is we're cross channel, right? We're integrating multiple channels together. So we're bringing everything together, but also it allows us to increase click rate on our emails, right? Those are going to drive more curiosity, more clicks to go see the video. It's going to add education to the brand. Everything kind of ties into one, okay? So just to go back to this brand, high performance think differently. And then again, they're introducing the product as a solution to, investing in brain health. And then as we see again, they're introducing their product as a way to overcome the fact that we're not investing as much in our brain health and, the true cost of caffeine as they outlined here. Another one is mushrooms are a hot topic right now. And this email is focused on like the dangers of mushrooms and the fact that most companies are jumping on this bandwagon, but have artificial flavors, colors. Like it's a perfect setting of the scene to introduce their product as a solution, right? So it's always problem, current state, here's what you need to know, here's the challenge, and then here's your solution, right? It's always introducing that as the next step. So you see here, the raw power of lion's mane, they're going deep into a specific ingredient that is in the product. How do you take yours? And then shop now, okay? How do you take yours? You can find it in grocery stores and on restaurant menus all over Asia, or as part of MindLab Pro, of course, right? It's a very subtle way, but it's a very clever way of introducing that into the brand because we already have buy-in, we're educating the user. And then I was like, okay, this doesn't seem very salesy. It's just like, I know the research, I know the evidence, I have what I need. Let me see what this product's about, okay? 2 more examples, and then we're gonna go into the the promotion-driven emails. But this one right here is a question of taste. The subject line is 4 toxic ingredients you must avoid. Again, very curiosity driven. It says, the lead here, I love this, is, would you ever sprinkle talcum powder on your dinner? Perhaps grate lead shavings onto your pasta or drizzle your salad in industrial paint? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But people consume toxic substances like these every day without even realizing it, okay? So a very, very good intro and a very good eye-opener. And again, education, value, and not all supplements are made equal. Again, they're comparing themselves, they're comparing other supplements out there and the fact that they use these substances compared to the fact that MindLab Pro is tried, tested, trusted, it's clean, it has all these certifications. And again, we're seeing that same structure of the opposing elements again. Last one here is 5 habits for a sharper mind in 2025. Again, a value-driven email. I'm going to learn something if I open this email. 5 habits, right? 4 toxic ingredients you must avoid. 5 habits. I'm going to learn something in this email. It encourages open and actually feel excited to actually open this email and learn something about it, right? Stop the brain rot. Oxford University has declared brain rot as 2024's word of the year. So they're using a topic that's out there already and they're using it in their favor because it's about the brain. So again, when you think about how do you plan these out in advance, again, it comes back to the marketing calendar and understanding, okay, we know that Oxford University has declared brain rot as 2024's word of the year, right? So with that in mind, let's create a marketing moment around this. Let's create an email campaign that's going to go out on this specific date. Here's the copy. Like, you can plan it ahead. You can plan for that in advance, okay? So, they're going to the fact, they're using brain rot again. They're going into the definition. Take 5 for a better brain. Like, here's 5 brain health habits that they promised in the email subject line. And then it just has these 5 habits. And then add these 5 habits to a daily dose of MindLab Pro brain power to keep yourself ahead of the game in 2025. So a very subtle way of introducing the product. And again, these are not very heavy salesy emails. And this is what we mean by leading with value, leading with engagement, and getting more buy-in from the customers to your brand so that when it does come to the promotions, you crush it with email marketing, okay? 20% of your emails should be promotions. And this is where, you have your Black Friday sales, your Christmas sales, your 4th of July, spring sale, whatever it is. But you also have, a way to introduce new products. So you have a new product launch that on email. That's a big moment, right? You want to have a lot of emails around that. Those aren't really value driven, although you could incorporate some value and engagement into those emails. However, usually you just want to lead with the product. And this is what you do in these kind of emails, right? You lead with the product, they're usually much shorter. You ask for the sell straight away because it's a deal, it's an offer, it's a promotion, and it's not going to be around for long. So act now, okay? So hopefully that gives you a good idea of a way to think about, how to actually approach campaign as a strategy and why this works. 3 main reasons. 1, it builds consistent traffic and engagement. 2, it drives urgency around limited drops and sales. And 3, it reinforces MindLab Pro as the go-to brand for those serious about brain health and performance, okay? So the main thing here is we're building brand. We're building connection with our audience. Whenever they receive an email from us, they know it's not just going to be us trying to sell them, not trying to push the product. It's like, I'm actually going to learn something about this. And you read the email, okay, cool. I'm actually excited to receive the next email from MindLab Pro. And once you establish that, and you can establish a cadence as well, where customers know that they're going to receive an email from you every Monday and Friday, or every Tuesday and Friday, then that is going to, you're going to train your customers to open your emails to get more buy-in for the brand, and it's just a perpetuating cycle, okay? So just to round this off, in terms of actually how many emails you should send to your list every single week, this depends a lot on your engagement metrics, okay? So this is your open rates, your click rates, your placed order rates, but it also depends on your deliverability, which, is something that I have here in this mega doc as well, a deliverability checklist that makes sure you're covered on all bases so you can start sending campaigns, right? So what we do in terms of cadence is we send 3 to 5 campaigns per week, 3 campaigns to 1 audience segment per week max, right? So we usually like to split up our non-customers and our customers. It depends on the product, right? But sometimes there's a lot more opportunities to reach your existing customer segment again and again compared to other brands and products. It really depends on your product range and how much repeat purchasability your products have and other products that you can introduce, right? But again, it all comes down to engagement metrics. So you want to be keeping an eye on those. You want to keep an eye on your deliverability, testing that often, and making sure that you're good in that standing. If you send too much, especially if you send too much sales-driven emails, your list is going to get burnt out, okay? So just remember, 80% content-driven and value, 20% sales, promotions, offers, all right? That is the main thing when it comes to email marketing campaign strategy. And hopefully this video was helpful, right? Hopefully this gives you a different perspective as how to think about email marketing campaigns so you can start generating more revenue from your email marketing, all right? That's it for this one. If you are looking for an email marketing partner to come in, take care of all of this for you and more, just be the go-to for handling all retention stuff, then there'll be a link below this video. We can book a call. We can learn about the current challenges with retention marketing, talk about your objectives, and see if there's a fit for us to work together. Right? That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video.